The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 26. And it shall come to pass that in that place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Call Layim La, Abanawa, Yahalba Shem Yashai Bashem Rakahak Radash, Kabad Lahazukwanim, Shaga Masa, Wahabayat, Shadawada, Wahabakarim. Giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Abanawa, who the world ignorantly calls God, in the name of the only begotten Son, Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, as well as send my double honors to the apostles, elders of Great Millstone, and a peace, love, and salutation to the Bayat Shah Dawadah, Wahabakarium, and the elect, all right, that are indeed risen here in these last days, as the scriptures tell us so. Right, Brother Zariah, Boston GMS Camp. All right, I'm going to label this lesson up. Something to the guise of Ezekiel 37th chapter taking on effect at this moment, man, or in fruition right now, all right? Because that's what's going on. The children of Israel are beginning to take on the identity of who they truly are, man, all right? The bones, all right, the valley of dry bones is becoming a valley of flesh, man. All right? Who are the Israelites that are understanding who they are? I mean, coming back to that power, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. All right, coming back to their identity as Yasharallah, Princes of Power, Israel. All right? So scripture I want to get here first. All right? I'm going to get it in Ezekiel. But first I want to touch on Baruch 2:30. It says, For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord, their power, for I will give them ear and heart and ears to hear. The word Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, the Lord is raising us up out of the dust, man. Dust being confusion, a grave or a confusion state, man. All right. This is our Revelation 11, verse 11. It says, And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, that when you get 3 days and a half, all right, that's symbolizes 350 years. All right, and great fear fell upon them which understood, hey, man, the princes of power are recognizing that they're princes of power, that they are the chosen ones of who the world calls God, man. All right, and great fear is going to fall upon the nations. Great fear is falling upon Esau as we speak, man. Because the children of Israel are waking up to who they actually are. All right. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him and made no accounts for his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. All right? Because we're living in a captivity where it's been pushed, and it's been a widespread worldly rumor that the true children of Israel weren't the chosen people of the Most High Power, who is Yahweh Abanawa. All right? But guess what? The world will soon realize, hey, man, this is the Lord's chosen people. And the Lord has a plan for his chosen. All right? And 144, plus 1/3 women and children. All right? And help meets to the prophets and so on and so forth. 1/3 will be saved, man. Will receive salvation, and it will be strange. All right? According to the likeness of the world and what they push, man. Because it's going to be far beyond what they can fathom. All right? And it all starts with what's going on now, man. As Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, is happening as we speak. All right? This is Ezekiel 37:1. And I'm going to read it. All right? And it says here, and the hand of Yahweh was upon me. All right, so Ezekiel was carried away in the spirit. He's going to say it. It carried me out in the spirit of Yahweh and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones. All right, bones symbolizing a dead state. All right, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley. Lo, they were very dry. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord, power, thou knowest. And he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh power unto these bones. Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. All right? That's that breath of life, man. Knowledge. All right? Ultimately, the structure of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, man. All right? Righteousness, wisdom. All right? Starting with the fear of the Lord. All right? That's the breath of life. That's the bread. All right? The scriptures talk about, Yahweh Shai said, you cannot eat off of food alone, man, or bread alone, but off of every word of the Lord, man. All right? Because that's the breath of life. That's the spirit that quickeneth, man. Alive. All right? The Rakakwadash. And it says, and I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahweh. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them, but there was no breath in them. All right, and that's the problem. We have a lot of Israelites that know that they're Israelites, but they have no breath, man. They are lacking the Rakakwadash, man. All right, they have identified themselves as Israelites, but there was no breath in them. So there's a lot of Israelites in this time that are still stuck, all right, in this process, man, at this point. All right, and I'll read it again. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. All right, so you went from a dead state, a skeletal state, all right, to the flesh being upon you and you being identified. You identify yourself. You are indeed an Israelite, man. A Hebrew Israelite, man, from the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. All right, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus saith the Lord, power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet with an exceeding great army. All right. Then he said unto me, Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Behold, they say our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, O my people, I will open your graves, and cause you to come out of your graves, and bring you unto the land of Israel. And this is what's going on, man. All right, this whole chapter of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, man, is in fruition, is playing out as we speak, man. The children of Israel who were once dry bones, who once had no identity, who were once called by bywords, all right? Black, Latino, Native American, African American, Indian, Hispanic, all right? They now have an identity, all right? They now can identify themselves and know what stock they came from, man, which is indeed the house of Israel. All right? Because Ezekiel prophesied it, man, that it was going to happen. And guess what? We are in the days in which it's happening, man. All right? The Lord is raising up the house of Jacob. The Lord is raising up the tabernacles of David. All right? And during his raising up of the tabernacles of David, he's bringing down the kingdom of E. All right? And I just wanted to touch on that. It was on my spirit to bring this out. You know, and I pray, you know, I really and truly pray you were edified through the Spirit. One more scripture I want to touch on, if I could find it. It's Ezekiel the 36th chapter, right? This is Ezekiel 36 and 24. I'll start here. It says, "For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you." All right, so the Lord is starting this process as we speak, man. All right, the Lord is gathering the house of Israel, man. The scriptures talk about the house of Israel, the strangers being joined onto them. Who's them strangers, man? All right, that is the Israelite foreigners, man. All right, so the Lord is gathering Israel, man, in one spirit. All right, and then after that, this is what's going to happen. "And a new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them." All right, because this is talking about the new body and the new spirit in which the Lord is going to bless the children of Israel, man. Because as the scriptures say, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth," man. All right, so when you read 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter, when you read that, you hear that, you understand that the Lord has a ordained way in which he wants to handle things, man. He has an agenda. The Lord has his own agenda, man. All right, and we know the Lord's word does not come back void. We can bet on Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, man. All right, and when that's going to happen, the first thing that's going to happen is the children of Israel are going to wake up. The heathen's going to get upset. All right, the children of Israel are going to wake up. The flesh is going to be put on their bones. They're going to know that they're Israelites. The heathen are going to get shooken up. All right, then the Lord's going to destroy this place. All right, and then he's going to save his elect men, his 144,000 elite men, the cream of the crop. All right, as well as the 1/3 family, friends, men, women, and children. All right, and he's going to set up a new kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. All right, and them men will receive a new body, a new spirit, and a new heart to follow behind the laws of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai perfectly, man. And this is, we are at the beginning stages of that now, man. All right, the scriptures say, Revelation 12:12. All right, "For the devil come in having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time." And during his short time, the Lord is starting his process, man. Starting by putting the flesh upon them dry bones, man. Which you Israelites who had no identity, who's calling yourselves by the identity that the so-called white man gave you, man. But now you know your true identity, man. And not only that, but you know the identity of your enemies. All right, so the Lord is building you up in the spirit, man. All right. So with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai. Shalom.